I'm in the fast lane when the light turns green, and I built tough, I ain't nothing but grit, cause I made rugged blood, sweat, and spit. Yeah, like a horse I fly, better push yourself in for a bumpy ride. I like to play hard, but I work harder, and I weather the storm cause I'm built stronger.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? We are back. We are live. It is the Freight Coach Morning Show, the top morning show in transportation, coming to you guys every single weekday, 8:30 a.m. Pacific, 10:30 Central, to break down some industry headlines and, most importantly, provide some actual insight into what you can do with all of this information. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. This is the real side of freight, ladies and gentlemen. And I say that before every single show. And what I mean by that is I only speak to transportation professionals on this show, as well as my twice-a-week long-form podcast, because I want to talk to the right individuals who have done what you're looking to do or who are currently doing what you're trying to achieve, so you can take that, apply it, utilize it, and see a meaningful difference in your business and your life. All right, what is going on, everybody? It is Wednesday. Tracy St. Clair over on YouTube. Good morning to you. Carla Isted, great to see you as always, coming in over on LinkedIn. Yeah, you guys, we got a really great day today. Things are coming out the gate hot this morning. We got a bunch of freight that we quoted up here already this morning. We got awarded some of it that we're moving next week. And yeah, we're slowly building and scraping and clawing. Got all the solicitations out this morning as well. And we are going to continue to push it out there, you guys. And as always, how I got those rates that we won that freight, green screens. All right. Legitimately, I use them for every single load that we move. And I won the load like 20 minutes before I went live, so I can't technically say I won it live on the air today like I normally love to do, because that's always a lot cooler when I can win freight and quote it live on the show, which one of these days, you never know. I might do that. I'm not going to obviously show you guys my customers because I know you guys are all going to start going after them, which you probably already are. But at the end of the day, that's what we're all about, you guys, is just continuing to put that information out there and add value out there into the market. Jamie, what is up on YouTube? SP Freight, happy hump day in the house. Bill McIntyre, good morning, everybody. Corey Buchan, happy hump day to you as well, also on YouTube. And then Denisa France, beautiful day. Let's go, rock stars. I love it. So yesterday, Kyle obviously was on the show. Kyle is my business partner in Broker Carrier, you guys. And we had a really exciting announcement yesterday, and it went live. Okay, so the free vetting tool that we have is live. Stephen Tittle, good morning, my man. And I wanted to show that to you guys. And again, you guys, I want to be very, very clear. This is no strings attached, all right? Like, there's not, go on to this website, go onto our website. You got to enter your email or you got to sign up for a newsletter or anything like that. That is not part of this at all. This is completely free for everybody to use. We get all of this information from the FMCSA database, like everybody does, right? And now, obviously, as a reminder, this isn't the real time, but this is very accurate information that's out there. Obviously, we do have a paid version of this in our entire portal and everything, but we wanted to give something out there for free for people, okay? Because this is something that affects a lot of people. Kyle and I have bootstrapped multiple businesses. We know how expensive technology can be, and we don't want any of our listeners or anybody out there to think that they can't protect the integrity of their company. So here it is, you guys. Here's the live screen. Just to make it simple, if you just go to brokercarrier.com, go under resources, and then carrier lookup /quick vet. Here you go. It's that simple. And then you can enter an MC in here. And here's one that we checked on the other day, and I wanted to pull this up. So you just put their MC number in right here, hit search. So it pulls up their information. Click on this, click on the company name, and then it shows all of their information that's on file with the FMCSA. But here's the tab that you guys all want to look for, is the issues tab. All right. And this is completely free. And it shows everything out here, you guys. Okay. And then also you can click on this carrier connections. This shows every other carrier that they are associated with their information. Okay. Again, this is completely free. I just wanted to show this to you. So if you go on them, same thing. If you click on another one of those, and here it is. Same thing, you guys. Those are all associated to the same address here. And you guys can do that. So if you guys want to check it out, you guys, it's just on Broker Carrier underneath the resources tab right here. And then just look up to go to the Quick Vet tab. And all of that information is out there for you guys. Again, it's free, no strings attached. I'm not going to ask for your email address or a newsletter or anything like that. And carriers, the same thing is available to all of you guys as well. Okay. You can go on there and get the MC of the people that you're booking freight with. All right. So if you're getting a load from one of these guys who are out there, put their MC in there quick and check it and make sure that they're not associated with any other companies, that they are who they say they are. And again, because you guys are the ones who are getting the short end of the stick. All right. You guys are the ones who are accepting this freight from some of these brokers that are not going to pay you. And this is a great way for you to find out if these people are who they say they are. Brokers, same with you. Again, you can go on there and check it out. Great way to find out if these people are who they say they are. All right. So that's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to oversell or anything like that, you guys, but we wanted to put something out there for people. And again, use it as you see fit. All right. That's all it is. That's all we're wanting to do is put something out there that people can use and see a difference in their business. I mean, it's literally the tagline of this show, right? We want to put information out there that you can apply, utilize, and see a meaningful difference in your business, in your life. And we truly feel like that is something that is going to add a ton of value to people out there. And that's all we're trying to do at the end of the day. Flo, what is up? Good morning and happy Wednesday. Erica Hamilton, good morning, coach. Beautiful in Goodyear, Arizona. Erica, I think we're out of our 2-week winter stretch out here because it's been like 80 degrees. What's funny is Erica's over in Goodyear. I'm on the East Valley in Gilbert. We're like 60 miles apart. And yeah, it was nice and 80 degrees out here in the East Valley yesterday, Erica. Thanks for tuning in. John Radvansky, the Rad Man, is in the house over on YouTube. Good morning. Julia Castillo, a.k.a. One Call Logistics. She says, good morning, Freight Value. And then she says, Chris, as always, thank you for sharing your knowledge and adding such an impact to our industry. I appreciate the support, Julia. Thank you so much. Sonny Sharma, good morning, Freight Freaks. Happy hump day, everybody out there. Articles. We will definitely be breaking some down here. I got a bunch of them that came out. It's gonna be interesting actually coming up because, you know, obviously we were talking about that yesterday about how retail sales at Walmart were kind of doing good. And yeah, I'm looking forward to breaking these articles down. The links to these articles are going to be put up on the Freight Coach YouTube channel, as well as the Coffee with the Freight Coach audio only replay, which is on iTunes and Spotify almost immediately after the show. Yeah, Erica, it is. I'm looking forward to I've never been to a spring training game yet. I've lived out here since 2019, and I'm looking forward to going to a couple of them here this year. So I couldn't agree more. Baseball weather is here. All right, you guys, first article we are going to break down is from ttnews.com. And this one is about January tonnage being declines annual and monthly basis. ATA data shows freight market remains in a lull. Its truck tonnage started the year on the downslope, decreasing on an annual and sequential basis in January, and dashing cold weather on hopes that the month might kick off a turnaround for the industry's freight recession. The ATA truck tonnage index decreased 4.7% to 111 compared with 117 a year ago. The Federation announced on February 20th on a month-by-month basis, the index decreased 3.5% compared with December's 115 reading. January's data was a snapback to reality for anyone thinking the freight market was about to turn the corner. Bad winter weather in January likely hurt volumes, not to mention sharp drops in a number of drivers of tonnage, including retail sales, housing starts, and manufacturing output. I will say I'm very glad that he mentioned that out there, because anybody who's actually moving freight knows, obviously, that there was a massive storm in January that caused a decent amount of delays. And it caused load cancellations and everything else out there. So that I'm glad that he brought that up because that does play into effect. Now, I'm not saying that that was the overarching reason why, but I'm glad that they pointed that out. And said, the logistics manager index showed an uptick for the month. In January, the LMI registered 55.6 compared to 54.7 during the same month a year ago. After doing this kind of thing for a few years, a little bit of stable growth sounds great to this old professor. Wait, what? Oh, okay. Arizona State University professor of business Dale Rogers said in a report that was released. He noted that there is growth across several metrics. For the first time in the last 20 months, which we believe is a big deal, transportation price growth is also increasing at an increasing okay. Transportation prices are increasing at an increasing rate, according to this article. Sorry, guys, I went to public school. That stuff makes me crack up. Warehousing capacity and utilization and pricing and transportation capacity are growing at a decreasing rate, which makes sense as the economy appears to be getting better. Every month, researchers at Arizona State, Colorado State, and the Rochester Institute of Technology, yada, 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 assembled a report. Job growth remained robust in the U.S. as employers added 353,000 jobs in January. While rates continue to remain between 5.25% and 5.5%, analysts are expecting as many as 3 rate cuts throughout 2024, and that the first cut should come as early as the spring. This is good news for the freight markets as high interest rates have been the main factor holding back spending out there. Okay, I don't understand how rate cuts is a good thing for the freight market. Maybe I'm misreading this here. All of my prices have gone up. I don't know about you guys. I know the people that I talk to that are moving freight in this industry. All of their prices have gone up too here recently. So I am, that's interesting. That's interesting because I don't think that there's rates from my perspective where I sit today are not going down. On the contrary, they're increasing out there. So again, data, okay, hold on. This article is from ttnews.com. January tonnage declines on annual basis. The data that we see out here is, from my perspective, it's over when you look at a lot of these reports, a lot of it is overall, right? It's not this is the rate or the data that is going to get this truck moved. If your customer comes to you and says, I need 3 trucks picked up today within the next 2 hours, that's not the data that is going to help you move that load, right? You really need to take that into consideration. And like, what does your freight mix look like? If you have only contracted rate and you move a shitload of volume, maybe that applies to you. But for the freight that I'm moving, as I'm building up my book of business, a lot of it's last minute. Very, very little is actually planned out in advance and everything else. So it's like a lot of the data that you see, and then you're hearing these things about rate cuts and everything else. I don't see it. I don't see it from my seat. I see the opposite. I see rates increasing out there on the freight that I'm moving. And it's not like we move shitty lanes. Like we have really decent lanes out there. I mean, obviously it's not, Atlanta to Chicago or anything like that, but the rates are going up. The other brokers that I talk to, which are pretty much everybody that I talk to on a daily basis, they all said the exact same thing. Their rates are going up. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see, though. All right. It's going to be interesting to see what this year actually does. I also got some information out there that load posts declined on all 3 equipment types out there. Van loads were down, reefer loads were down, flatbed loads were down. Truck posts also fell out there. Van equipment and reefer and flatbed all fell. And then load to truck ratios edged lower for all 3 equipment types as well. And then rates continue to soften as reefer rates drop the most out there. And again, I just don't see I don't see rates dropping out there. I know, like, I look at a lot of it like this. Like, if you're going to make any comparison out there in the market, Q1 is always historically soft for the most part. So I can see why truck postings are going down and everything else, because at the end of the day, people are going to honor their contracts no matter what when freight rates are down and volumes are down. But that always tends to change when there's a spike or a seasonal push in freight out there. Rates start to increase and everything else. So it's going to be interesting to see. It's going to be really interesting to see. But again, if you're out there from a business development standpoint, a lot of the overarching information, yes, it's applicable, but it's not your reality, right? Like a lot of the information that I see that is out there means nothing to a lot of my shippers, right? Because at the end of the day, they need their stuff moved. They need their freight picked up. They need it delivered. They need it done right. Yes, price is a thing, but for the most part, a lot of the overarching information that I see on a daily basis is just not applicable to my book of business, but it could be applicable to yours at the end of the day. Another reason why I love Green Screen so much, you guys, is because they have the most accurate pricing that is out there for your freight that needs to move right now. All right. Next article we're going to break down is, oh, good. I'm glad. It is from the JOC.com. Disciplined, in quotations, truckload carriers attempt to hold the line in annual pricing talk. And I am so glad that I had found this article because it goes completely in line with the last article here about tonnage and everything else. And what are we doing out here? So, article says U.S. truckload carriers are attempting to draw a line in annual contract pricing talks with shippers, but some of those shippers are willing to cross that line or at least smudge it to gain lower rates. Clearly, there are customers that are looking to try to take one last fat bite out of the apple before the market reaches a turning point, said Derek Leathers, the chairman and CEO of Werner, during his company's earnings calls out there. Our stance is that we've got to stay disciplined, Leathers said. It's glaringly obvious that carriers cannot make reinvestable return at current rate levels. That's led to negotiations Leathers described as difficult and frictional as annual bids come up in the first quarter. I love Derek Leathers. If anybody at Werner is listening to this at all, and you can get Derek Leathers to come on my show, I would be so appreciative of it. I just love his stance on this stuff. When you look at the leader of a company, there's no, at least in my opinion, on what I see out of the information that he puts out, there's no gray area with that guy, which I can respect. I see a lot of that too. Because a lot of people, if you're looking at data, last year's rates, say, were $3,500 in February. Your customer is going to look for you to lower those rates, right? Naturally, that's just how it goes out there in the negotiation phase. They're always going to want to lower their transportation spend no matter what. And like I've said before on the show, I don't like if I'm moving a lane, for example, for a customer, say that $3,500 lane, if I've been moving it at that and my customer comes to me and says, hey, somebody came in at $3,000 or $3,200 on that lane, can you match it? I am always going to say, hey, that is a phenomenal price. I cannot touch that. I will be here for you if you need anything, but I cannot lower my price. It always naturally leads to me losing the volume. All right. It does. But for a short period of time. All right. I want to be abundantly clear. Almost 99% of the time that I've taken that stance, within a couple of weeks, they naturally come back. And then they will say, because again, customers have to, right? If somebody's coming in there and they're presenting a plausible case on why they can move freight at a lower price than what they're currently paying, I don't blame anybody for that, right? Like this is the real world where I live in. I don't take that shit personal. You got to do what you got to do. I just remain disciplined in those moments. And I say that this is the price that we got to remain at. And once I do that, inevitably it naturally comes back, right? So I always just believe in holding firm because I don't overinflate my pricing and take advantage of the market, right? Like I've had so many situations that have came up where I could have, right? Like I could have increased my price, but I kept the rate the same because my carrier never increased the rate. Like, here's a prime example. I had a customer who came to me for a last minute hot shipment. I gave him my price. I gave him my availability. At first, they were like, yes, that works. My customer calls me back an hour later and said, hey, actually, we're just going to put it on our own truck and we're going to make that happen. I'm like, all right, cool. Lo and behold, 8 p.m. my time rolls around. I get a phone call from my customer. Hey, is your truck still available for tomorrow morning at 7 a.m.? I'm like, let me call him. So I called the carrier up. Are you still available? Yeah, I'm still available. You still want this load? My customer just called and said it's available. They said yes. I'm like, what's your price? They said the same. So I went to my customer, told him I had a truck. And guess what? My price was the same. And my customer's like, are you sure? And I said, yes, absolutely. Send it over. They're one of my longest standing customers because I don't take advantage of those situations, right? I'm not telling anybody what to do in this, but I would recommend that if it doesn't increase your costs at all, don't take advantage of the situation because I feel like it's short term, right? It really is. If you're here to play the long game, which you all should be, don't take advantage of the situation because I think it all is tied together in the long run. Anyways, back to the article. There is a place, the Clint Eastwood line, where a man's got to know his limitations, said Dave Jackson, president of Night Swift. There's a place where we simply cannot concede anymore. I agree. But that hasn't stopped customers from asking for more, especially those customers whose freight is more commoditized and is more transactional. There's a customer that looked, based on their approach to be more aggressive, said Mark Rourke, of Schneider. But the market outlook and negotiations are far from being black and white. It's kind of a mix. What we're seeing out there right now, said M. Paul Bunn, president of Covenant. Shippers in a really commoditized environment are still trying to squeeze the last. Verbiage here. Words have meanings that they're trying to squeeze the last amount of blood out of the turnip. When it comes to talk with long-term shipper partners, however, there's some low single-digit rate increases to be had, said M. Bunn of Paul Bunn of Covenant. Customers are going to do what they got to do. They have a business to run as well, right? And I think that a lot of service providers out there, for some reason, think that it doesn't cost a customer any time or resources to send over any freight. Businesses are going to do what they're going to do to try and make money and keep those lines. Whether that decision works out in the long run is irrelevant. But I think that at the end of the day, customers are naturally going to push back. It's just what happens, right? It's part of it. And when you see some of these legacy companies out there making statements along these lines, to me, it's like, opportunities are everywhere. Anyways, in every down cycle, some people come in here and they start throwing out numbers. They may want another 10% knocked off their rates, and there's not another 10% to give. Still one industrial shipper who did not want to be identified said that they would not gouge their partners. I'm still getting a 98.5% tender acceptance rate. I agreed to the rates and I'll stick with them. The shipper said she does expect some movement in pricing if the economy improves this year. And that adding the Harbinger will be in flatbeds. That's where I roll. What up? The average national dry van truckload contract rate has dropped 10% year over year, according to DAT, falling to $2.04 a mile, excluding fuel. And then watching for a turn. Shippers that got deeper discounts in early 2024 may see them disappear as the market turns. When the market turns, carriers gave shippers discounts are going to reprice rates as soon as they can. And they're not just going to take rate cuts. Folks will set some trucks against the fence. I'm going to reread that sentence here. All right. And I'm going to tell you what it actually means. When the market turns, carriers that gave shippers discounts are going to reprice as soon as they can, or carriers are not going to take rate cuts and people will park their trucks. That is from Paul Bunn with Covenant. This is what that means. Every single one of your customers that you guys are out there prospecting right now, this is the tender rejection stuff. All right. This is what triggers a rebid. This is when customers will look to outside providers to see who can kind of hold the line out there. And I don't blame anybody for doing what they got to do for their business. I want to put that out there. But to me, that's what that means. There is going to be opportunities this year. All right. This is why I've been saying for the last 5-6 months, You got to prospect. This is why I like legitimately, you guys, I'm sending out no less than 80 touches a day every single day. All right. Without fail. So eventually these things all catch up, right? Because like they had said out there to start out in early 2024, that people bid very cheap. All right. Because that is what a lot of people do. A lot of large providers, especially the publicly traded ones, all speculation, of course, on my part, bid very cheap to get the volume. They do that until the market begins to flip, then everybody starts declining tenders because everybody does that and then hopes shippers will trigger a rebid. All right. That's just what happens out there in the real world. And if you've been prospecting heavily and some of these customers open up for a rebid, they're going to start replying. Okay. They're going to start opening up conversations with other providers because that's just naturally how it goes. All right. So increase your outreach, you guys. All right. If you are out there actively prospecting, do not quit. Do not get frustrated. Do not stop right now because you are literally on the cusp of things changing. You truly are. And when a lot of these large companies who are publicly traded and have tons of volume, when they're out there saying stuff like this, to me, that's a really solid indicator that some of these companies are going to be looking to hit that decline button here coming up. And then hope it goes out to the spot market and then hope that they can get in there and get a cheap or a more expensive rate to pay more. And once that happens, it's going to reach a point where customers are going to trigger a rebid and they are going to open up to other people coming in. So do not lose sight of that, you guys. Continue to prospect, continue to fight. It's going to turn. All right. If you've been prospecting heavy, it's going to start paying off. I bet the farm on it. All right. Truly, I bet the farm on it. That article is from the JOC. Disciplined truckload carriers attempt to hold the line in annual pricing talks. Let me see here. Sydney Thiessen, what is up? She says, love that ideology. Just stick with your guns and play the long game and know your value. I'm going to do it every single time, Sydney. I'm not going to deviate away from it. I've seen this situation so much in my career. Like nothing about what you're experiencing in the freight market right now is the first time. All right. The over sensationalization. I don't even know if that's a fucking word, but I'm going with it. The over sensationalization of how this industry is very concerning about some of these large companies that come out here and say this stuff. Nothing about what we're about to experience this year is new. Nothing that's going on right now from a pricing perspective is new. If you've been through a market shift before, you've seen this. You're going to see this again. April Maroney, what is up? She says consistency will always reign supreme. I'm getting opportunities with people I've been reaching out to since last spring. Hell yeah, you are, April. Keep it up. I love it. But that's going to be it for today, you guys. I will be back tomorrow. Tomorrow's Thursday. Yes. So I will be back tomorrow. I don't know if I have a guest or not. I'll have to check. But Friday is Q&A day, you guys, at the end of the day. It's all sales and operations related questions for the transportation industry. Drop them in the chat live on the show. DM them over to me. If you guys want, I will answer them live if you want to remain anonymous. And yeah, we'll be back. Uma, I appreciate you, Uma. Thank you so much for your support. All right. Thank you. We'll be back tomorrow, you guys. As always, if you guys got value in what you heard, subscribe to the show, you guys. Share it out there to your network because this is how we grow. But most importantly, this is how we can help more people is because if you saw value, your network's going to see value as well. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. And we'll be talking to you soon.